This is a prophecy. Did you know the Lord told me last year that the economy of America stopped for 11 days, something would happen. And guess what? It happened, and it happened on the 11th day. I'll be talking about literally a wealth transfer that went from the middle class to the money class, and hearing from Congressman Thomas Massie. Oh my goodness, what's going on right now? Be sure to subscribe and press alert to get new notifications of new success secrets made available on VFN TV. The Lord spoke to me. Now I'm going to speak to you another prophetic encounter. This is going to be, the whole month of April is just going to be, prophetic encounter, prophetic encounter, prophetic encounter. Well, the Lord told me in 2019, now we're into 2020, He told me specifically, He showed me the amazing economy that He has allowed America to have since President Trump came into office. He showed me the military industrial complex, how it's all grown. He showed me the business industry, how it's it's amazing what's happened. It was up to almost 30,000 points on the New York Stock Exchange. Everybody was doing great. Everybody was doing good. But He told me this in 2019. Now He told me this. He said, if it's to stop, if the economy just stops for 11 days, if it stops for 11 days, at that point, all the gains, everything that we gained under President Trump since he became president will go away. Well, guess what? It stopped for 11 days. For 11 days, it stopped. And of all the things that could have happened, on the 11th day, which was March the 27th, 2020, the American Congress, the elected officials got together and they committed to write a check for $2 trillion to the American people, who obviously, the American people are going through some real rough times, of course, not being able to go to work, and it kind of makes sense. Then also another approximate $4 trillion they committed to equivalent of $6 trillion. They committed to be able just to borrow that money and to be able to start giving away in grants and loans and all this different stuff. That was the 11th day. They took what is approximately 1/3 of the GDP, the gross domestic product of America. That's every business transaction that ever happens in America. They took 1/3 of that and gave it away. That's a big, big deal. Now they're talking about going back. Well, God said if it stops for 11 days. In 2019, I'm thinking how could this stop? It's going so good. Guess what? It stopped. All the gains were gone. We went down to almost 19,000 on the New York Stock Exchange. It's going up and down, but it just continues to fluctuate. Listen, God is in charge. Just make Him the Lord of your life, and He will speak to you. Think about this. Congressman Thomas Massie was being interviewed by Glenn Beck on his program, speaking specifically about what was taking place. Why would Congress, take a voice vote? They didn't even count the people. They just took a voice vote, so everybody wasn't even there. What was taking place? Well, he said it was the greatest wealth transfer that day. On the 11th day, when God told me that if it stops on the 11th day, it was the greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind, of the earth, that moved from the middle class to the money class. Is that wild? Let's see now. This is Congressman Thomas Massie speaking about what happened on March the 27th when they signed away 1/3 of the gross domestic $6 trillion of America's money. Take a look.
How you doing, Glenn? Look, this was about Congress trying to avoid accountability for the largest wealth transfer from the middle class to the moneyed class in the history of mankind. Even the Roman emperors couldn't pull this off. And like you said, they wanted to do it by unanimous consent. Now, they first said, we don't need to be there. And I said, no, the Constitution says otherwise. To do legislative business, at least half of you need to be there. Then they said, we can't make it on time. I said, you're telling people to stay home. Of course they're not going to get here on time if you're telling them to stay home. And by the way, my intention wasn't to delay this bill. That's why I shared my strategy with the leadership days before, so they could get everybody there in time, but they were still telling everybody to stay home. Then they said, this is the rich one here. It's not safe for us. Listen, 96 senators made it to work that on Tuesday. I can tell you we should have been able to get at least 50% of our members there.
Listen, this is not a political program. We're not even talking about politics. We're talking about there's a global shift taking place. This is a worldwide thing happening. Everything's shifting, and you're looking at, we'll talk about this throughout the programs in the month of April, but understand this, that you're looking at this end time shifting of this beast economy taking place. I know we'll talk more about that, but you don't write a check for 1/3 of your gross domestic product. We have a $20 trillion economy. We just wrote a check for $6 trillion. They're talking about writing an infrastructure check, borrowing this particular money. You know, and some amazing prophetic words have happened, but understand there's some things going on across the world right now. And he said, this is what Congressman Thomas Massie said. He says, just do the math. Listen to this. Listen to what he says about just do the math of what it means to get a $1,200 check from the government. Listen up.
But it wasn't that, Bill. This was a wealth transfer. I'm asking your listeners to do the math. $6 trillion. Let's say there's 100 million families in the United States. That's $60,000 per family, and they're offering $1,200 checks. The $1,200 check is the cheese in the trap.
The $1,200 check is the cheese in the trap. If they're writing a check for $2 trillion and your working family gets $1,200, where's the rest of it? He's talking about 100 million working families, $60,000 per family. Working family is what it costs to give you a check for $1,200. He's saying it's the greatest wealth transfer from the middle class to the money class, the people who are running the money. And what's happening? What's happening? What's going on with China and Russia and the Middle East? And why can't governments just kind of come together and unify? It's like everything is divided on the earth. But our God is ruling and reigning. At the same time, the adversary, the God of this world, is beginning to shift and move things into place, and God is allowing it. Wait, don't go anywhere. Subscribe. Listen, together we can touch the world. That's right. Subscribe below, right? Wait, don't go away. Subscribe. We're going to touch the world. You know, a lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it. You can request that plan today at iabide.org. Hey, be sure to check us out at VFNKB.com and also join the VFNKB community at VFNKBcommunity.com. Listen, your success is our success. Our success is your success. And our success together is kingdom success.